We figured, God, what do we got? We must have the flu or something. And over the course of the next few days, I just started to get really ill. My oldest daughter came by the house to check on me. And she walked in and she said, Dad, I think you need to go to the emergency room. I remember walking in. They stopped her from coming into the hospital because if you remember in early 2020, they had all the hospital restrictions. Family wasn't allowed in. She yells out to me. She says, Dad, I'll wait in the car for you. She said, I love you. Call me when you're ready. I remember turning around and said, okay, hon, I love you. I'll see you in a little bit. That was the last family member I saw for 6 weeks. The doctor examined me. The test they ran came out positive that I did have COVID. Within a day, every organ was in major failure. I was breathing so bad. I was intubated for 31 days and put into a coma. She knew that I was going to die. They told her right up front, he's not going to make it. He's going to die. Little did they know that my family is just as determined and strong-headed as their father. And my daughter, Lisa, the nurse, she wasn't going to lose her dad. My middle daughter took to social media, and with the help of my youngest daughter, the nurse, they developed a post basically saying, my dad is sick. He's in the hospital with COVID. He needs your help. They had 2 pages of volunteers willing to travel to Florida to give me their plasma. Person they never knew. Miraculously, they found a young man in Pensacola 30 minutes away that matched. On Easter morning, my lungs had cleared enough that I started to breathe on my own again. When I came out of this coma, I knew something had happened to me. So when my daughter came in and she told me how sick I was, because I had no knowledge, I said, well, Lisa, I said, I wasn't here. And she said, what do you mean, Dad? You weren't here. I said, I traveled. She said, Dad, it was a dream. You're just dreaming. I said, no. I said, I had dreams. I know I have dreams. I can tell you those dreams. And I said, I had hallucinations. And I can tell you the hallucinations. I wasn't here. And at the time, I was not familiar with near-death experiences. So I had no reference to talk about. I said, Lisa, I was in like a dark airplane fuselage. And I remember my consciousness, it was just my conscious, woke up. And I was in this dark tunnel. And I was moving through the tunnel very slowly.